What's up? John here, founder of the Paid Search Playground. And you can always visit me at www.itallstartedwithanidea.com. Let's talk about AI. It is crazy. Not so much though. Actually, today there was a person who had posted on LinkedIn that said, I wish. I wish I had thought of that. It's just a GPT agent. And so, what a GPT agent is, you go into OpenAI, ChatGTP as an example on the left hand side, and you add some prompts and some coaching, and you add some files and some folders, and then it outputs something for you. There are a million GPTs now, a million plus. Who knows? Maybe we're not at a million yet, but there's quite a few. And in terms of marketing, the circle's small. So there's only so many ideas that you can come up with, right? And so it was interesting for me, and I say that somebody today is still saying, I wish. For me, it is looking at Claude 3.7 learning and saying, what are the possibilities of creating something that is a human? Well, it's realistic, but it's super complicated. But is it really that complicated? And having that conversation with the tool as a marketer, like, hey, we have challenges with space and we have challenges with time. How can we as marketers solve for space and solve for time? Well, everybody references Google or Amazon or Microsoft or some other storage that exists. And I'm like, well, why do we got to do it that way? Why can't we treat space like a neuron? Um, and why can't we do that? Well, this is what you need to do in order to do that. Well, what about building campaigns? Like, I have a product right now that will talk to you like it's me, will talk to you like it's your friend, and it's patented now. It's copyrighted. It's going through that whole process. And I had not thought in my entire what it would be of a life right now that I would be able to do something like that without having to go to school, um, and like starting all over again. I don't have to start all over. I just have to like get a renewed self of imagination and think through what is possible or what I could imagine, and then ask a million questions. And it doesn't mean it's always going to come to fruition. It doesn't mean it's always going to come true. But to say, I wish in what we are doing, like you're already like 10 years behind. If you're, well, I'm unsure, you're like 20 years behind. If you're, well, we're not going to do that. We need to set up this process and do that process and do this process and go through that. Like, just forget it. Like, continue to focus on what you're focusing on and continue to evolve with where you're at. Because by the time you get to where you need to be, you're going to pay somebody or pay for a tool that connects another tool that connects another tool that gives you a tool that everybody's just like, ugh. Your team is like, ugh, I don't want to use that. And the funny thing about it is you're actually only ever using OpenAI, DeepSeek, Gemini, or Claude, right? You can say Anthropic, but you Claude, and they all do different things. And some are good and some are bad. And so your GPTs or whatever you're paying for and your I wishes and your moments of hesitation, this isn't a moment of hesitation across engineering, development, sciences, technology, creative, writing. This is a revolution. And it's it's profound. Yeah, it is. So today I saw a post that stirred that rant of I wish, but what about imagine a place that is full of space, that everything you always thought of that isn't material. It could be material. You could develop something material. Like somebody could ask the question, how could we solve the world's problem for water? How can we convert salt water to just normal everyday drinking water? You can do that in your home now. You have a tool that's able to process and synthesize all this information. Solar panels or build a solar car. Like those patents exist in the world. Go grab that patent and study that patent and then say, hey, I want to take this concept and I want to build this concept for myself and I want to make it unique for myself, so that I'm not breaking that patent and I'm not going after that. You're doing it unique for yourself. Now, there are some things that are not common through this whole process, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. And so that's where the patents and the ideas are going to hold. But the thoughtfulness and the thinking and the ability to do for oneself now, it's here. And it's been gone for a long time. The society has been a society of doers. And AI is allowing folks, and there's some costs to it, to be thoughtful and creative again and imaginative and dream. I mean, shucks. I'm asking questions about time and space and quantifying that as it relates to all the stuff that I do. I'm asking how to automate a campaign build. I mean, like so there's a product talking about Google advertising. Let me just talk about that. So I have a product right now where it's in a Google sheet. You upload a script, and it you can build your campaigns in the sheet, your ads, your ad groups, your keywords. And then I have another product that, again, these are all combined. So I've separated these products out, where it's just a keyword analyzer, right? And then for the ad builder that I have, I mean, gosh, I've been using that for, I don't know, what, 2-3 years. And now with AI, I can put a box here on the right hand side, or I can create a UI for it. And you can type in and coach it and train it to be just like yourself or your business or the business you're representing, and it spit it out. Now you have to, of course, like, just check your work. You should check your work anyways, even if you built it from scratch in Google Ads. But imagine just going into a platform and, it's cool that like Google Ads Editor, can build ads at scale, but you still have to manually do the headlines. But now just imagine a tool that spits out a sheet that pops it up into Ads Editor, and all you need to do is review your work. Or imagine that you just hit enter and it uploads it to Google Ads. Your whole campaign building, all you're doing is checking your work, right? And there are tools out there that can build display ads and creative and automate that. People have figured that out, and then you can bulk upload that as well too. So like this today, like the things that we're able to do because of AI, if we're not thinking that way, then what are we thinking about? I wish. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of I wish. I'm not a fan of let's just take a pause. Let's think about it. Let's come up with a 10-step process before we launch into it. Or, hey, yeah, this idea anybody could do. That's not true, right? It's not true at all. For example, gosh, working with buddy, amigo, going through Cursor, there are limits. Like if you just let Cursor pick what you're going to do, it's gonna default to Gemini. Gemini is gonna erase all your code. You gotta start all over again. If you use OpenAI, it's gonna think through some of the process, but it could delete all of your work too. And so you have to be strategic in what you're going to use, and you have to work through it. People are like this vibe coding thing with OpenAI. or with ChatGPT or with Claude or whatever. Like, I get the vibe coding thing, and great for your 3 to 5 minute piece of work that you can't actually manually take out and give to the World Wide Web. You're just showing a screenshot of what's in the tool itself. Like, that's great. I get it. But to actually code something using Python and command, and like have it in GitHub and Humming Face and go through all of this process where these different repositories of information sit is tough. I up yesterday, I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I went to bed at midnight. And I thought for sure by noon I was going to be done. And every time I got to a certain spot, I was like, okay, I want to do this and I want to do that. And then something would break. I'm like, what is breaking? And because I changed one line of code in over 5,000 lines and multiple files, I had to then go back and adjust those thousands of lines across multiple pieces. And then you get hit with errors because some code doesn't work well together, right? There's conflict between different packages, and you're just like, what is this? And then you realize, like, oh, this is what a developer and engineer is fighting. Like, in their brain, they have this idea, and we think it's like it's just square peg, and you just put this information in. They get to line two and change just something so simple impacts thousands of lines everywhere else, and then you got to go figure out what the heck that problem is. The vibe coding, I get. You want to build something that's meaningful. The tool and the passion and the care and the effort still matter, and you still have to know what you're doing and what you're looking for. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just going to stall out with something that everybody else is already doing, like some report that filters from Google Ads API. Like, look, you guys, today I'm going to give you a cheat code, and we're going to wrap this part of the podcast up. Here's cheat code. Go ChatGPT, ask for a YAML for Google Ads. It'll give you 4 lines. It'll give you everything that you need. Go into, Google Ads, type into the search bar at the top, type in API key, and you're going to get the center. Go to API center, and you're going to have an API key just for testing. Go apply for a basic. In order to apply for a basic, which allows you to actually make changes live in the account and do those things, you're going to have to fill out some documentation, print off a spec of what you want to do, and you can have ChatGPT do that for you. That's simple. Then you go into ChatGPT and you're like, well, now I want to print reports for this. That's 1, 2, 3, bang, bang. There's so many people that have put so many different iterations of scripts from the API and ChatGPT now that you're almost 9 out of 10 times going to get a first iteration on how to run a report with some cool graph across a campaign type. That's ChatGPT today. That's Claude. Like, it is. That's it. The more that people use it, the more those agents become smarter, right? So that said, the I wishes, don't wish, y'all. Go out and do. Be doers, be thoughtful, be thinkers. If you're just doing, like, good luck to you. Couple of topics. I've been busy posting articles, cleaning in my backyard. I cleaned a pool this morning, which is a lot of work, by the way, to clean a pool. There's a whole process behind that, especially if it's salt. And I planted 4 more trees, so I got a couple more citrus, actually. I have 2 more limes, and then I have some tangerines that I just planted as well, too, which I'm super excited about. And I'm probably going to plant probably 10 or 15 more out front. They're on sale at Costco. Plug for Costco, $39. Look, to get citrus right now, it's plug. Period. The best fruit that you can get is fresh off of the tree, and Costco's got a better deal than Home Depot. I love you, Home Depot. You're my break, but yeah, period. Okay. That's just a simple plug. Strategy and bidding. Let's talk about it. Manual or automated? I think it depends. Manual is a thing. I get it for small businesses and big businesses. I absolutely get it. There was a time in my career, more recently, with not even recently, that was a long time ago now, that was when I was managing NAM and global strategy across what was, you're gonna laugh, what was Gemini, Yahoo at the time, Microsoft, uh, when it was Bing, and then of course Google Ads, right? And before there were even RSAs, I remember that winter when RSAs broke. It was a nightmare. We were like, what are we going to do? We got to add all of these headlines as a beta. It was even worse when the initial before that was the 90 characters. It was kill. It was killer. It was absolutely killer, right? The headline expansion, the description expansion. I was doing manual bidding and I was using eCPC and I was beating ROAS and I was beating CPA and I was beating it. I beat it. I ran a test across what was it, 220 dealers based out of Australia across Eastern and Western Australia. And I ran a test to see if I could beat ROAS and CPA, and I absolutely did. I squashed it. And so in my head, I was like, oh, yeah, I could use this Brain Labs 24/7 bid modifier and I could do all of that. And then I had to come up with a script. So I came up with a script on the side that would change the bids because I was using manual. And I had little secret sauce behind me was a tool called Boss. So it was a bidder at the time for CDK Global. It was proprietary, and maybe they're still using it today. I think you're going to get some thumb up action. And I had saw how it had bid, and I had learned that with manual bidding, you could actually still auction, and it's super powerful for brand. You can auction with minimal bid at the lowest possible bid. I'm talking like pennies on the dollar for like strong brands, not so much for big brands, and still serve like at 90% of the time, which is crazy. And it's still a thing. I mean, today, if you have a big brand, I don't know, let's say Apple did Google Ads advertising or 𝗘𝗺𝗁 as an example, or Ray-Ban, or I don't know, what am I looking at? LinkedIn, Riverside. Who made these hats? Let me see here. The NFL and New Era. Yeah. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, go Bengals. Um, you could still do manual bidding for your brand and it works absolutely 100%. Do you localize it? I mean, I think it depends. Do you do it national? It depends. Do you do it international? It depends. It depends on your brand. It depends on what you want to achieve and what you want to accomplish. And then automated strategies just make sense, like brand or no brand. We talked about manual. Manual is historical, it's classic, requires a ton of effort. You're in the tool every day. You must adjust your bids, by the way. I'm going to say this. If you're doing manual bidding, you should be adjusting your bids every few days, up or down, couple pennies at minimum, using some sort of script. Like, you guys can't just leave it set. Like, as advertisers, hey, listen, SMBs, mid-sized businesses, enterprise businesses, if you log into your account and somebody's using manual bidding and there haven't been any adjustments in a week, and you have all of these red flags for like first page bid or not serving enough, or and they're like, well, we need more budget because we only get the no. Adjust your bids. Log into the system. You get paid. We get paid as advertisers, as marketers, whether you're in-house or an agency. Go in and adjust the bid. Period. Automated bid strategies, same thing, right? You're either bidding towards an action, right? CPA, cost per action, or the event that you're tracking, your goal, or ROAS, right? So what is your return on ad spend? So what is that value? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.1, 1.6, 167, 67%, whatever it might be? You just setting like a round number. The worst thing is to go into an account, look, business owners, and you can go to your shared library, and if you see all 450% for every product that you're selling, is every one of your products going to get you a return of 450%? Are your margins all the same? No. Your margins in your bids, whether it's cost to acquire a new customer based off of whatever that action that you're going after, form, submit, lead, MQL, SQL, whatever it might be, your op, whatever it might be, set that value for that particular product at that. And then adjust it up 10, 15%, 20%, 30%, depending on how you want to push your account. But if you just log into a shared library and you're selling like 10 different products and all your bids are the same across and your targets are all within 10%, are your margins the same for all your products? No, that's absolutely ridiculous, right? I got my cell phone here. There's probably 100 of them that exist in this world, and different versions of it. I mean, I think iPhone has like 50 different versions of just what is it on now? 16 or 15 or 12 or 13, whatever it is on, right? It has so many different versions that the margin on each one is different. That's why one sells for like $100 and another one sells for 1,000. You can't bid the same on them and expect to get the same return on it. So your bidding shouldn't be that. So when you're thinking about automated or you're thinking about manual, the point of it is it depends. There's no right way. Anybody saying one way is the best way, I probably would just be a little concerned about. Um, Anybody just always using manual, I probably would be extremely concerned about. Somebody probably like just head over heels about ROAS, and you're not even a ROAS based business and you don't even know how much value you're getting on your products. I probably would have a lot of questions, and vice versa for somebody that's CPA. Um, I probably would have concerns. At the root of it is when people are talking to you about your business and your strategy and what you want to do, are they talking to you about your strategy and what you want to do and what the value is of your products? And then assessing how that works. Like, hey, we're going to start out in manual bidding. Once we get to 50 conversions, because we have enough information, whether it's Facebook or Google ads or Amazon ads, whatever it might be, shopping products, Advantage Plus, whatever you're doing, once you get to that place, you're like, okay, this is what it took to get there. This is what it's going to take to move forward. Can we get a little smarter? I can't continue to adjust bids, or yeah, I can continue to adjust bids because it's working. But are you growing the business? Or are you just doing the same old, same old? Somebody should be talking to you about that. Manual versus automated always depends, you guys. There's no right way. There are nifty tools that are out there. There are scripts that you can write. I have a bevy of scripts. Brain Labs has a bevy of scripts. You can just go to Google, and I mean, heck, now you could use ChatGPT to write a script that goes in and manages your bids based on how you want to. Be thoughtful, be considerate, but most importantly, talk to the business, you guys. And businesses, if you're listening to this, anybody, your automotive, retail, e-com, lead gen, SaaS, finance, education, nonprofit. If you're listening to this, make sure somebody's going into the account a couple times a week and adjusting the bids and targets, right? And it doesn't have to be significant. I mean, a couple of pennies is okay. A couple of percentages is okay. There shouldn't be big, large swings, but somebody should be going in and at least changing it and having a meaningful reason behind making those changes and making adjustments. If your bids haven't been adjusted for 2 weeks, that's a problem. 30 days, like you need to go find a new business to operate with. I'm just going to say that. Moving on, we've Like AI is dope, bidding is dope. There's AI behind bidding and manual, but Performance Max versus traditional. Ah, I'm a fan of new. So I'm gonna check that box. I'm gonna be the person that leaps in head first, and I'm gonna be the person that drowns in the new. Uh, I love it. Why? Because that's where we're going. So I at times um, want to be respectful of what works, but I also always 100%, 101% of the time, and I think Sal has got me on the 100% thing. Great dude, SEO. If Yeah, works with OBX, great dude. That's not a plug. It's just a general great dude. It's got me on the 100% thing. Performance Max, do it. It might not work. It's okay. You got $100, put $20 towards it. It might not work, but it probably isn't going to work with $20. You're probably going to need to go all in, and you're going to need to get to the threshold of about 50 transactions, conversions, whatever it might be, over what period of time to get there. And how much you need to invest in it should be like, what is your cost per acquisition? Do your cost per acquisition times 50. That should be your investment, right? And so people ask me, how much should I always invest when I'm trying something? You should invest at whatever it takes to get to 50 to get there. At 10 is not going to tell you a good story. 15, 20 is not going to tell you a good story. 50 will tell you. There's balance there, right? And so Performance Max, I love because it takes a lot of the guesswork out from the funnel. I mean, top of the funnel, mid funnel, bottom of the funnel. You can do shopping, you can do search ads, you can do display ads, you can do video. It's all encompassing is there, right? The asset groups, you can break out all your products or your categories, just like your website, right? So on mine, for example, let's not even talk about my website. Let's talk about LinkedIn at a high level, right? So if I were just to hit the LinkedIn and I were to like blow this up, I have connections, contacts, followings, and groups and events, pages, and newsletter. All those would be my asset groups, right? With different things, different goals, different ambitions for each one, right? Like how many events do you want to set every month? How many pages do you want to connect with and see? How many newsletters do you want to write and read? How many people are following you, right? How many contacts do you have and how do you want to grow those contacts, right? Your total connections. And it all rolls up. All of it rolls up to you. Your objective is to grow your brand or to grow that business, but you need to have different goals for each asset group because each asset group can do different things. That's why I love Performance Max. And you can control that through audiences, through the different events that you're tracking. Um, I love it. And then the traditional way is the traditional way. If you're listening to this and you're a noob, I have videos now on my YouTube, right? It all started with an idea. I have videos now that I'm working through, just like answering your question, like what is a CPC? What is a CTR? What is CVR? And just like little shorts on why you should do these things. Forget the rigmarole and the long explanations. Um, so I'm not going to get into too many details there, but Performance Max, to me, I think when sometimes you should be using it. People have been abstaining from demand gen, but are you really? I mean, if you're doing display ads, if you're doing Performance Max social style, shout out to Menachem for that. Dope dude, knows ABA like the back of his hand, knows e-commerce like the back of his hand. Super smart, probably one of the top out there in Performance Max. Language, you can find it all over search engine land. Shopping style, right? Or social style, where social style is just all about creative. And then shopping style is just about shopping. Now, sometimes PMAX doesn't do shopping well, so you have to then do, um, gosh, traditional shopping. Either way, y'all, Do AI stop wishing? Test, test, test.